All right, welcome back to ECP. This is another big time show here. I'm excited for this one. By now, of course, a future Bob Culture Hall of Famer. So glad to have you back on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the show ahead of his Doorway to Hell match versus Danny Demanto this Saturday. CW Rise of Titans. He's a former Stand-Up Wrestling heavyweight champion, a former Evolved Tag Team champion, and multiple-time CZW champion. The Unwanted Maniac himself, Joe Gacy. What's up, Mr. Gacy? How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How you doing on this fine Tuesday night, is it, I think?
It's hard to tell these days, man.
I know it is.
All things considered, man, 2020, it's been crazy, man, but doing well, man. How about you? Staying safe? Family doing well?
Yeah, absolutely. No complaints over here. I actually, the last couple weeks, started getting back into the gym, so that's nice. It feels good, so...
Yeah, it's good to hear. And you bring up going back to the gym. I've been following you on social media like any indie stalker guy would. Just kidding. And no, I've been seeing you've been waiting to get back into the gym, man. I knew you were really, really excited for that.
Yeah.
So we've talked to Pat Buck and KM recently, and they say, your body kind of gets calcified. You're not in the ring. You're not getting that cardio in. What was that like for you during this downtime?
I mean, the whole time I tried to stay busy. I tried to stay active. At the beginning of things, nobody really knew, really how the virus worked. So I honestly maybe took a week off of doing a lot. I did try to do some at-home workouts, which then progressed into me realizing that I can start running again. So I started doing a lot of running outside, especially because the weather started getting nice. So, I mean, before I had access to a gym, I was just running and doing at-home workouts with, barely any weights and bands. And then I found out a few weeks ago that a gym in Delaware opened. So I went there for a week straight, which was 45 minutes away from me. And then I found out some gyms in PA or outside of Philadelphia opened. So I started hitting those up. I mean, it sucks paying the toll that, many times a week, but I got to, get back in there and start getting my body right. So
I got you, man. Where, if you don't mind my asking, where are you now? Where are you out of? You're not a Jersey guy.
I'm Jersey. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's been crazy here, man. But Jersey represent. Let me ask you this real quick. The question on everyone's mind: best pizza place.
Oh, there are a lot that are good, and then there are some that are overhyped. And this could be just because it's near where I live. I have two.
Okay.
One would be a place called Danny's Pizza Pizzazz in, I think it's Franklinville, New Jersey. It's near where I grew up, so could be why it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
But right now where I live, anytime I get pizza, it's from a place called Wing King, which I believe is technically Morristown, New Jersey. Very good.
Okay, I wrote them down, man. I'm a big pizza. And more importantly, pork roll or Taylor ham.
Pork roll.
Correct. Very good. All right, man. You can stay. No, I'm just kidding, man. So we've seen you. I definitely felt as a creative and a journalist, I use this downtime, this quarantine time to kind of, reach out to wrestlers such as yourself and really concentrate on my craft. I saw you and the missus doing a lot of these live streams, top 5 movies, showing off your production. Did you kind of feel like an obligation to kind of connect with the fans in some way during this downtime?
A little bit. I wanted to put something out so, people can kind of see what I'm doing and what I'm up to. The whole thing was actually my wife's idea, so we kind of started doing the lives. We haven't done one in a while due to all the movements going on online and stuff. We might bring it back soon, but basically we didn't want to, clog up timelines with our videos with everything else going on. So, we'll probably bring them back soon, hopefully. Also, on top of everything, now that we're actually starting to adventure out in the world a little bit, we're a little busier than we were. So it might not be a weekly thing, but we're going to try to go back to start doing some of those again.
And that's a good thing that you're busy. Was at TCW a few weeks ago, was that your first time back in the ring?
It was technically, yes.
Okay.
I did take part in the GCW show on 4th of July.
Yes.
But, you know, I didn't do much. So I would count this TCW show as my technical first return to wrestling.
For sure, man. A great match with Rick Recon. Of course, I got to say, man, you made pretty quick work of him. Did a great job. I know, no fat. We love Britain. No disrespect.
Right.
But I love how you use one of my personal favorites, kind of like that back handspring off the ropes, kind of stunner cutter that you use.
Yeah.
I saw you use it more of a setup move in the past. Now you just kind of put them away with it. I'm okay with that. That's one of my personal favorites. How did you come up with that, man? Where did that come from?
It's actually kind of funny. So younger Joe Gacy was a big fan of Tajiri. Definitely one of my favorite wrestlers, top 5 in my top 5. So I learned early on when I was in a ring that I can do the handspring, which it looks easy, but it's a little harder than you might think for some people. So I started realizing I could do the handspring, and I think I wanted to do something a little different than Tajiri. So I experimented with a lot of different things, and I eventually landed on doing a stunner, and then I ended up changing it into a cutter because some of the other people I knew that kind of did it also did a stunner. But now the cutter's big too, so you know I can't really win in any sense of that. So I just kind of stick with the cutter for now.
I love it, man. It's awesome. And that's right. Tajiri did the back handspring. It was the elbow Tajiri did, I believe.
Yeah, the elbow.
Tajiri is fantastic. That's great, man. I'm actually glad I asked that. That's a great story, man. But let's talk a little bit about your upcoming match against Danny Demanto in the main event, I believe, for Rise of Titans, Doorway to Hell match. I'm just, can you tell us a little bit more about that? I'm expecting a lot of broken doors.
I guess I don't really know much about it myself. They announced it as a Doorway to Hell, so that was a surprise to me. But I assume it just means we're going to have a lot of doors to use. So we'll see what happens. Unless it's whoever goes through it first. I'm not really sure of the rules yet, but we'll see what happens.
You do what you need to do to get the W, man. Like
Absolutely.
That's great, man. I want to talk to you about one of the last times I saw you before all this crazy stuff was last summer at the Warp Tour. I know you're a big music guy, man. That was just a fantastic weekend. You were over there with GCW. I think during your match, you took a little swim in the ocean, man. What was that like for you? For me, that was just like Graceland, man. That was like heaven.
Actually, so being a part of that show checked off a lot of boxes for me as far as things I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to wrestle on the beach, and I finally got to do so. There was a few times that was supposed to happen, but unfortunately the shows would either get canceled or postponed or whatever. So I finally got to wrestle at the beach. I've always wanted to wrestle at Warp Tour. So I actually was booked to wrestle on a Warp Tour one time years ago. I want to say 2009. A car of us was supposed to drive, I think it was Connecticut, for a Warp Tour show. But then they ended up taking the wrestling off of that Warp Tour. So this was my first time wrestling at Warp Tour. And I wanted to go to the final Warp Tour. So, I think the planets kind of aligned for me there, and I kind of tackled a lot of things at once. It was amazing. It was super fun. Great summer day, wrestling on the beach, getting to see a bunch of bands I like. Me and Tony Deppen. Also, love wrestling Tony Deppen, so that was also a plus. And we ended up fighting into the ocean. So it was a good time. Great time.
Yeah, one of my fondest memories from last year for sure. That was awesome, man. And we saw you going back to kind of like the whole quarantine and COVID thing going on. I saw you've been doing a lot of gaming. What did you think of Last of Us 2, and what else have you been playing?
Last of Us 2 took up most of my time. So, starting with quarantine, I played Resident Evil 3 remake, the Resident Evil 3 remake. It started strong, but it wasn't great. I think my problem with Resident Evil 3 was that it was only it took me maybe 4 to 5 hours to beat it. It was a very short game. Last of Us 2 took me 35 hours to beat, but I beat it in 3 weeks, which I probably should have tried to space it out a little bit, but it is a masterpiece in my opinion. I know if you're into the gaming world and you played Last of Us 2, it's very divided.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's very divided, but after kind of like absorbing the story and thinking about it, I think it's perfect. If they ended it the way, and I won't give any spoilers away from anyone that haven't played it, but if they ended it the way that a lot of the fans wanted it to end, I feel like it would have been a slight letdown to the story. And that's kind of what the creator explained also, that they feel like it would have been out of character for the main character to do what the fans wanted her to do. But I think it was a perfect game. It was a perfect follow-up to the first one, because the first one was my favorite video game of all time.
Yeah.
And it was 35 hours long, and I wanted more. So maybe a sequel to that. I don't know. I don't want them to, keep doing sequels and ruining it, but it was amazing. I want more of it. I'm actually doing a replay through now. So.
Wow, there you go. Really good. And Resident Evil 4, one of my favorites. And I like Resident Evil 5 because of co-op. Also very, very good. Resident Evil 6, not so much. I returned it immediately. But anyway, I digress. You recently had a feature, I believe, what was it, in Pro Wrestling Illustrated, if I'm correct? What's that kind of about? I love the photo shoot and all that. How did that come about?
So that's funny, actually. The whole thing started with the picture me and my wife took together. What picture was her idea. I'm going to give her all the credit in the world for all of this. She had this idea because we were waiting to hear what was going on with Mania Week back in April. So we had our trip planned. I was going to be working all the Evolve shows. There were going to be a bunch of them. And we had a trip planned to go early to do a Disney day. My wife's obsessed with Disney. So that was kind of the idea of the picture. She had all of her Disney stuff on, and I had my gear on, and we had all of our bags together, and we took the picture. We took it literally in our living room with our cell phone, and, the idea was what's going on with WrestleMania. So that kind of snowballed into us doing our live videos, and PWI reached out to me about our live videos and what wrestlers have been doing during quarantine while they're sitting at home. So they did like a little story about me and my wife doing our Facebook Live videos and used that picture because it was, us during quarantine. So it was awesome. So literally everything I have to give credit to my wife, Amy, for, because she thought of the top 5 videos we were doing, and she thought of the idea for the picture. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Hashtag couple goals right there. That's
exactly.
Awesome. And you mentioned Evolve, man. Like, special place in my heart for Evolve. A lot of great shows. My buddy Nunez was there for that moment when you got the contract. He took that picture, man, of you holding the contract. I remember asking you about that. What a moment. With obviously everything going on in the world, like, what can you do? I'm sure there's a lot of conversations you guys had and whatnot. I know you were very involved with like the school and all that. Any thoughts on Evolve or any fond memories or anything you want to say about that?
I mean, Evolve was, to date, the best time in my career. I owe, everything that I have as a performer to date to Evolve. The time flew by pretty quickly, but I was with Evolve for 2 years, contracted for almost a year, but I was with Evolve for like 2 years. And I can't say enough good things about Evolve. And Evolve was, I called it my new home because I used to call a different company my home, but Evolve took me in and, treated me as part of the family. So honestly, Evolve is a family, and that's exactly what it was. And since I joined Evolve, every best career moment I ever had was with them. And I can't say enough good things. Traveling with all my buddies at Evolve every month, seeing Eddie Kingston monthly, Colby Carino. I miss seeing them guys. I got to see Eddie recently, thank God. But I can't really say enough good things about Evolve. Definitely the best time in my career to date. So I'm gonna miss, doing Evolve, I guess.
Absolutely, man. And you never know, like they say, when one door closes, another one opens, man.
Yeah.
If feel free to pass on this one or no comment. Obviously, we've been seeing a lot of our friends, man, mutual friends, like popping up on Dark. Popping up here and there. NXT, man. should we? I don't want to lead you here. I guess what is the future kind of hold for Joe Gacy, or what is the goal right now, man? For
I mean,
Joe Gacy?
for me personally, I mean, the goal, is always to get to the top of things. My goal has always been to make a living off wrestling. We're in crazy times right now, so it's hard to say where I'm going to land, but I'm trying, my best to land somewhere. So right now for me, it's all about getting back out there, getting back on shows, getting my body together for being off for 4 months. And hopefully we'll get back to some kind of normalcy, and we'll see kind of where, I land, and I'm just going to keep grinding. That's all I can really say is keep grinding and hope for the best.
Yeah, man. No doubt in my mind we'll see you on TV very, very soon, one way or another. I really do feel that way. And I'll say this, man. Eddie Kingston, man, you had so many kind words to say about him the last time I spoke with you, man. Just what a talent, what a mouthpiece. He's going to go very, very far as well. If you get hypothetically, I always ask dream opponents and all that, so we'll throw a different one at you. How about, it's hard to be Eddie, but a dream tag team partner if it wasn't Eddie?
Wow, that's hard.
Or national, wherever you want to take it, past, present, legend, whatever.
I mean, I would say, and I always, anytime I do any kind of interview, I always bring him up, but I would say William Regal, because anytime I can be in a ring with William Regal and I can learn from him, that would be, my option that I would take, because he is the most brilliant man in wrestling, and I've always loved his style. So I would say William Regal. Kingston's definitely, up there. Obviously he is my tag partner. So if we're going, dream tag partner, I guess I'm going to have to go with Regal.
Good answer. That's a great answer, man. Hey, maybe one day we'll see you at an indie show and Regal will make an appearance with a little something for you, man. Who knows? I'm just saying. I don't know anything, but I'm excited for you, man. Bright future, sky's the limit. Let me ask you this one. I think you'll enjoy this question. I always like to ask people this. Say you do have one day, and no doubt in my mind you will, that Wrestlemania moment, man. You have that entrance, the pyro. Joe Gacy's coming to the ring. What band is playing you out?
Oh, man. I mean, I could say Prodigy, but unfortunately the lead singer passed away.
That's right.
So I don't know. That's tough to say. I don't know. I mean, I currently use Prodigy for my music. So if they had a different singer to take the singer's spot, I'd say them, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. I mean, maybe I'd fall back on the Deftones.
Oh, classic,
maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Dig it. No, that's a great answer, man. Yeah, you see a lot of these bands. Go ahead.
Or I'll throw out Oliver Tree. He's kind of a newer artist, if anyone is aware of who he is.
I'm not, but I'm writing a lot of stuff down, man. I got the pizza places, I got the tunes, man. And I do want to be respectful of your time, Mr. Gacy. I have a few fan questions. Is that?
Yeah, I got all the time in the world right now. So
yeah, right. I know that story, bro. I did want to ask you, or Joe, I'm sorry, I wanted to ask you, where did the name The Chainsaw come from?
So The Chainsaw was an old moniker I used. It, if you know me, you would know that I'm a big fan of horror movies. Essentially, one of my favorite horror movies actually is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is actually right next to me here. So, big fan of Leatherface, and I thought of the idea of incorporating horror movies into my character a little bit, and I realized at the time nobody really used chainsaw, and then I started using it, and a few other people started using it, but for a time I used chainsaw, based on my love for horror movies and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So
there you go. This may be pulling back the curtain a little too far, so I guess give us what you can. I believe you were involved in Evolve in some of these seminars where they would have like the likes of Ciampa come in or Cole. Yeah. It's really, really cool. Obviously, that's between you guys, but I guess what was it like kind of working with them hand in hand, or what was the impression they had on some of the younger talent?
I mean, anytime there was a seminar going on, it was typically the second day because it was usually a double show weekend for Evolve. I would try to get to the building early and literally hide in a corner and just listen to the
Wow.
seminars. So I listened in, on the Cole seminar they did. I've listened to Tomasso every time he's done one. He's done a couple of them. Carino. Luckily, I've had a chance to, do a little bit with Steve Carino in the past. So, Tomasso, I would say, is probably the one I've personally had, conversations with the most. So, my personal experience with him being involved with Evolve was amazing. He gave me probably the most valuable advice I've, ever gotten. I'll actually share a story with you. I did a show in Detroit for Evolve. Main event, me and Sean Maluda wrestled the Skulk, a.k.a. AR Fox, and Leon Ruff. And at some point in the middle of the match, something happened. I'm not going to, point a finger at anybody specific, but the match fell apart. I was not happy with the match at the end. None of the other guys in the match were happy at the end. Evolve management wasn't happy, so I was beating myself up a lot. And Tomasso made it a point to talk to me about it.
Wow.
And kind of, told me things that I could have done and things to think about for next time. So I used that from that point on. I used that advice, and every match I go into, I still have that in my brain, like what he told me. So it was valuable. So I would say our match ended the way it did, probably for, if anything, for that reason, for me to get that advice. So, you live, you learn.
Yeah, preach, man. That's a really awesome story. Tomasso's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in the ring with him in a working capacity?
I was one time, actually, before he went to WWE. I wrestled him, what year? I want to say maybe early 2015, if not late 2014. I can't remember when he ended up going to WWE, but we had a match at a company called Excite Wrestling in Binghamton, New York. And to date, one of my favorite matches I've had for the company. He, at the time was a pleasure to be in the ring with, and, he's only gotten better since then. So, yeah. All around awesome experience anytime I've been around him.
I got to try to find that, man. And one I've always asked you about.
It's on
Go ahead.
YouTube, actually. Sorry.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
No, I thank you for saying that, man. I'll check it out. And one I've been trying to find, I always ask you about this one. Obviously big fan of Ciampa, big fan of Gargano. I think he's one of the best in the world right now. Don't really understand the heel turn, but that's a different story. But you have worked with Gargano, Adam Cole, and someone, I think you said it was like a fatal 4-way or something. What was that? Where can I find?
That was for Excite Wrestling also.
Okay.
That was to crown the first Excite Wrestling champion. It was me, Gargano, Cole, and Shane Strickland, or now Isaiah Scott. I don't know if that's out anywhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
Personally, I probably am not a fan of my performance in that match. It's been a couple of years since I've watched it. That was maybe 2013. So I've, feel personally I've gotten better since then. And you could say I'm the last one left of that group that's still around here. The match is probably good, but I don't know. I probably would have hated some of the things I've done in it. I don't know. I might have to go back and watch it if I can. I don't know where to find it, though.
Yeah, you're like, don't even look for it. But no, I would like to see that, man. And, a lot of them guys up in NXT just said, be nice to see Joe Gacy there in the near future. Just putting it out there. Another fan question for you. People asking about your hair. What is the secret to the hair, man? I remember taking a picture of you with me, and it looked like your hair was just like perfectly straight. It was just like blowing, and we were just like inside a gym. What's the secret, bro?
I don't know. I don't do much with it. Actually, it's probably, usually I always have it up, and sometimes that makes like the ends a little frayed. But lately, since I've been home a lot, I keep it down. I've been wearing my hat a lot, but I did, like, almost right before a lot of the COVID stuff happened. I got a little bit of a haircut. I cut the sides a little higher.
Nice.
It used to be like maybe a little lower, so I had a lot more hair going on. But thought I'd try something different. So this is what I got going on right now.
Rock and roll. The fans love it, man. So there you go. And speaking to the fans, man, let's get a little shameless promo out of the way before we get out of here. Tell us a little bit about where we can follow you on social media, and more importantly, get some of those great Joe Gacy shirts. I know I'm picking up a mask this weekend. I'm super excited for that. Tell us a little bit about the merch and all the shameless promo.
So if you want to, follow me, I have a Twitter at Joe Gacy, Instagram, Joe_Gacy. I do have a Facebook. I'll be honest, my friends list is full, and there might be a point soon where I might be revamping it or getting rid of it. I'm not really sure yet. But basically, I think that's all. I have a YouTube channel. Just follow me on YouTube at Joe Gacy. I've been posting my Unwanted Maniac episodes up there. I haven't done one of those in a little while. I've been trying to wrap my head around doing an episode for Danny Havoc that passed away. So that's kind of why I've been waiting on doing an episode. But on top of that, as you said, I do have merch. I have Joe Gacy t-shirts. I have all sizes in my brand new shirts. I have a few sizes left in some of my old shirts. I have a few masks left. So yeah, feel free to contact me if you're coming out to, Titan or any other show that exists right now. Feel free to contact me and I'll be glad to hook you up. I think that's all I got as far as that.
Yeah, man. And I'm super looking forward to seeing you. And again, guys, as we always say here, shameless promo, TCW is one of the few companies running right now in New Jersey, Oceangate. I think a lot of the refreshment sales go to the EMS, EMTs. That's great. The police force is there to, make sure everyone's social distancing properly. I go for the drive-in option, which is really, really great. I feel very safe. They have the commentary on the radio. And it's just really great, safe environment. They always go the extra mile. There's pyro. There's a stretched limo at the last show. There was an 18-wheeler at the show before that. Goddess is Friday. Please.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
there's plenty of space, too. It's in a giant field. So anyone that's, maybe hesitant to come, but, misses wrestling, feel free to come out. You can do the drive-in option, sit in your car, very easily social distancing. I don't know if I said that right. But yeah, if you're hesitant, come out. It's safe. Wear a mask and be safe, but come out and enjoy the show if you want. If not, totally understandable. Sorry.
Yeah. No, very well said, man. I couldn't say it any better. And I'm so excited for this. I think this Goddesses brand is going to be phenomenal. I think this Rise of Titans show is going to be amazing. You and Danny, I think, are obviously going to steal the show. I'm excited to see this Doorway to Hell match. But yeah, well, who knows? But and dude, thank you again for a few minutes. Thank you for always taking the time for us, man. I super always appreciate your time. And I'll say this, man. I always say to the fans before we get out of here, stay safe, take care of each other. Is there anything like you want to say to the fans right now that might be missing wrestling or might be having a hard time with this 2020 right now?
Yeah, the best thing I could say is try to keep your sanity, entertain yourself any way possible. If you don't want to leave the house, find something to do inside, whether it's with your friends, family, loved ones. Try to keep yourself entertained. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and the world is a scary place. But eventually, weather the storm. We will, get back to some kind of normalcy. And I think once we get through this, the world's, hopefully going to come out on the other end better. So I would say just hang on and, stay sane and try to entertain yourself and be safe out there.
Wow, it got me right in the feels, man. Very, very well said. Mr. Gacy, thank you as always for taking the time, man, and continued success, man. Thanks again.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. As always, take care of each other. Stay safe. Stay positive. We are out. Peace.